Good morning, 932. We've got one of the good ones with us today as well. It's time for Ask the Lawyer with Bruce L. Scheiner, attorney for the injured. And perhaps today's the day your question gets answered. He's one of the good ones when it comes to representing those who've been injured and need help. And we've got him on the phone again with us today. Good morning, Bruce.
Good morning, Todd. How you doing this morning?
Absolutely fantastic. How about you?
I'm doing well, but unfortunately, a close friend of both of ours family came down with COVID last week.
I heard about that. I heard he's also doing pretty good, considering.
Yeah, he's doing well, but his wife had it really hard.
We just hate to hear these stories, but I fear we've got more of those stories to hear moving forward before they go away. Still got to keep doing our best to stay safe, don't we?
That's the key. We just got to be very cautious and stay safe.
All right. Well, that's the best advice we can pass along in that area. What advice can be passed along in this department? We've got a question here, pretty graphic situation and a pretty bad accident that you might be able to shed some light on. You ready for it?
I am ready.
All right. This is what the email says today. A tractor trailer for a major retailer was driving down I-75 when it approached a traffic jam. It applied its brakes, but not before hitting a minivan, injuring my brother's entire family. The trucking company says that their driver was driving the speed limit and could not avoid sudden traffic jams. My nephew, who was driving several car lengths back, claims the trucker had passed him at a high rate of speed while my nephew was driving the speed limit. The trucking company lawyer says that my nephew, being a family member, negates the validity of his claim about the speed of the truck. We are convinced the trucker was speeding even though he did not get ticketed for speeding. Is there anything a lawyer could do to help my brother prove the truck driver was speeding? You know, the first step in any of these situations is see a legal professional, because they can undoubtedly point you in the right direction, and that's why we turn this whole thing over now to Bruce L. Scheiner. What do you make, Bruce, out of this?
Well, this is the case where it's critical to hire an experienced personal injury lawyer as soon as possible after the accident.
Okay.
And the reason for that is these big trucks have what we all refer to as black boxes.
Oh, yeah.
We need to preserve the black box and have an expert download it, because that will tell us the speed at the time of the crash.
I didn't even think about that.
You know, with the speed at the time of the crash, that's the answer to the case. If he's speeding, obviously he's at fault. And, there was a comment about the nephew being able to observe his speed,
yes,
and it's negated because he's a nephew.
Right.
That's not really true.
Oh.
He's allowed to testify, and the jury would give him whatever weight they thought was appropriate. They might think he's a little biased, but that doesn't cancel out his opinion that the truck was speeding.
Right. That doesn't mean he's a dishonest person just because he's a little biased for the family.
Right.
Is this the kind of thing that you would have an investigator track down that black box before something happened to it?
Well, the first second that client came in, we would send the trucking company what's called the spoliation notice, which means preserve the evidence. And if they didn't preserve the evidence and we had to file a lawsuit, there would be a presumption against them for spoliating the evidence.
Right.
That's why it's critical to get to see an experienced personal injury lawyer, preserve that evidence, and then have an expert download it to tell us what the speed was.
But the longer this person waits, the more of a chance that something happens and that black box disappears.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. So time is of the essence here. It sounds like the family needs to get together and get to a legal professional. Bruce, once again, you've come through like a knight in shining armor with some light at the end of the tunnel. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Todd. I look forward to speaking to you next week.
Absolutely. And tell the family I said hi. Take care now. Bye-bye.
Okay.
That's Bruce L. Scheiner, attorney for the injured, and our Ask the Lawyer segment of the week. If you'd like to submit a question for future consideration, please do. Let's go to our website, kickscountry929.com. And if you need immediate help, that can be arranged for you as well. Call the Port Charlotte office of Bruce L. Scheiner and Associates at 941-743-7777, 743-7777, and tell them that Todd Matthews sent you from Kicks Country 92.9.